Ni hao. I'm back. Can you put it on the screen? Let's explore the future of our landscapes, of our cities. Let's explore the future of light. I've always seen light not as a decoration, but as an activation. And I want to show you what I mean by that. This is a real flower. Did you know flowers can glow? They do. Not CGI, not AI, real flower. I'll show it one more time. These are my orchids in Bali that were breeding, making real flowers glow. Flowers actually already glow. It's really interesting for insects. So yes, we humans have the spectrum of light, the different colors making white. But insects, like a butterfly, see a certain spectrum of ultraviolet light that you and I can't see. And so for them, flowers already glow. Why? To find the pollen, the pollinator, that the plants need to multiply. So what we started to do is taking this piece of wavelength, engineer it in our lab, in our studio, and attaching it right here. So simple principle, specific flowers, daytime, nighttime. Real flower, shot by iPhone. So the part that glows is actually the part that wants to attract the bee or the butterfly or things like that, where the pollen are. And so we started to explore a glowing garden. We started to explore how we can see the world through the eyes of a butterfly. And this garden is right now working and alive in Bali. Can you kill the light? Make it a bit darker?
There is a light we rarely see. A world waiting just beyond our vision. What if I could see through the eyes of a butterfly? The beauty we've never truly known. Under the night sky, a world awakens. Glowing, vibrant, alive. Every step forward, revealing what was hidden. Now I see the world as it was meant to be seen. Brighter than we ever imagined.
That's pretty cool, huh? When I started this project, I couldn't even keep my houseplant alive. I had no idea about plants or flowers. But as innovation is always doing something new, you're always an amateur trying to become an expert, right? So I called some friends, got some help from botanical experts, and started to breed specific flowers, adding that ultraviolet wavelength. So this is a camellia, and all these photos that I'm showing you is actually shot by normal phone, right? So not Photoshop or something. Camellia does white. This is a Winston Churchill, a papio. Look at those colors, right? It's crazy. This is a water hyacinth. It's like a weed, very simple flower. Pollinator right there. This is a spider lily, very common. You see them everywhere. This is Dendrobium sonia, hard to kill. It lives forever, just needs a little bit of water. Yeah. And so it was so fascinating. Nobody knew which flower would glow or not. When you talk to experts, we don't know, right? Scientists don't know. So we literally had to go to the botanical gardens at night, to the forest, to the gardens, with that special light, and then just made a list of hundreds and hundreds of flowers that glow. It's a way to sort of show the preciousness and the fragileness of nature in a world of AI, in a world of blockchain, in a world of screens. Put away the screens and look at the beauty of nature through different eyes, through a different lens almost. Daytime, nighttime. Worms, millipedes also glow, specific. So we started to breed them. They are actually quite happy. They live 9 to 12 years. You feed them a rotten apple or banana and they're happy. Look
There
at
is
that.
a light we rarely see. A world waiting just beyond our vision.
So we have 1,200 of those in the garden walking around, and they're sort of like the janitors. They clean up the mess, they make the soil happy. Collaboration with botanical experts in Indonesia and the Netherlands. And so basically what we're doing is we're going to botanical gardens or public gardens like Singapore or maybe Shanghai, right, or Beijing, and say we can curate an evening experience. You have daytime and this is nighttime, transforming a world that you already know and creating a dream world to really, create this new connection with nature, with the world around you. And this is another thing we're looking at in terms of public lighting. Mushrooms, certain types of mushrooms also glow. Real photo, iPhone, real flower. So this is sort of, for me, the future. This is Shanghai Bund, Shanghai Pudong Airport. Why don't we have trees or mushrooms that glow at night instead of streetlights? So this sort of super nature, where technology and nature merge and become one, that's, I think, the future of the city. That's the way we're going towards to, my humble opinion. And so this is how I love to work. Again, light is a language. And you remember when you were a boy or girl, these glow-in-the-dark little stars that you had on the ceiling when you were a boy? Yes? Yeah, right? Magical, right? They charge at daytime through the sun and they glow at night. No battery, no solar panel, no energy bill, no maintenance. And I always looked at them when I was 5 or 6 years old, right, when I was a kid. And so a couple of years ago, we went back to the laboratory and making the most glow-in-the-dark, the most phosphorant material in the world, right? There's some stuff online. It's usually not that good. Glows only for 10, 15 minutes, has poisonous radion in it. Not good. So we made a new material developed, and trying to make the most glow-in-the-dark material that is out there and that is sustainable. And as we were working on this material research, we got a request from the Van Gogh Foundation, right? You know Van Gogh, famous Dutch painter, who made these famous paintings like here, the Starry Night. And they came to us and asked, he has an anniversary, like a celebration, 125th year of anniversary. Can you make something to celebrate him? Can you make something to make him feel alive again? And of course, that was a very honorable to be asked. But I wanted to make something not just as a tribute, as a homage to his great legacy, but also something about the future, something that still has to be realized. So we started to connect the world of material research and his famous paintings. Basically, we started doing this for 8 months, connecting. And this is what we made, a bicycle path. So what I started to do is, I started to follow the footstep of Vincent van Gogh. Where did he live? Where did he work? Where did he paint? Where did he have his beer? And And I found this beautiful place in the Netherlands, in Eindhoven, where we know he walked these grounds in 1883. He lived there for 2 years, then went to France. But we knew he lived in that area. And so we found this beautiful path, very quiet, not very, important. And we said, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make something that charges at daytime and glows at night as a tribute to his heritage, but at the same time a poetic statement about a landscape of the future. You can still visit this every night for free.
It's just like we're laying on a starry night.
And so suddenly something really special happened. Suddenly a bicycle path became world news. It's interesting, right? When we talk about mobility, we usually talk about the cars, BMW, Tesla, you name it, right? You know them. But why don't we think about the roads, right? The thing we actually see while we're driving, or the pavements, or the bicycle paths. And it was so interesting to sort of make that statement about history, but also about future. This is still to date, 10-year-old project, It's getting old. 10-year-old project. Still today, the most publicized bicycle path in the world, right? Why? Is it really big? No, it's only 700 meters. Super small in a way. Not super big budget. But it connects things. History, future. Practical poetry. The storytelling, creating a sense of place. And we go there every 6 months to check if everything is working, everything is good. And they tell us now it is like the hotspot for teenagers to go and have a first date. So I see that as a compliment. Yeah. We started to apply it as well to highways, making smart highways that charge at daytime and glow at night to increase safety and to embrace the notion of why can't a highway be an icon. So I would encourage you to use light not just as decoration to light things up, which can be really cool, but also as an activator to make places more safe, more beautiful, more meaningful. I'm saying we because, of course, the artist and the designer of today never works alone, right? It's impossible. And so this is the reason why I started my design firm almost 20 years ago in Rotterdam and in Bali. I've been actually living and working in Shanghai many years as well, working as visiting professor at Tongji University. So basically I started the studio because I had all these ideas, but everybody told me they were impossible. And that's really annoying, right? So you get a team of designers, engineers, project managers. You put great ideas in the room and you say, we're going to prove them wrong. Right? We're going to prove them that it can be done. And I'm the son of a scientist, so I love technology because it's such a great tool to make ideas a reality. Right? That's the most important. It's good to have ideas. It's even more important to make them real. And so we started to explore that new world through that team of designers, engineers, project managers, scientists, experts. As in the introduction, I'm from the Netherlands, right? You might know it, you might have visited. What is interesting about the Netherlands is that huge part of it are actually below sea level, right? So we built this system of dikes, of windmills and pumps to protect us from the water. So we live with water, we fight with water. Without design, without these kind of systems, we would literally die. We would drown, as huge part of the Netherlands is way below water. But at the same time, most of the Dutch people, they forget, or they ignore, or they are not aware of it. So the Dutch government commissioned us, can you create something to make water awareness, and to make people aware of that, we have this relationship with water as being in the Netherlands. And so we created waterlicht, a combination of LEDs and lenses to show how high the water would be if government would do nothing. So if government would go on holiday for 1 year, do not pick up their phone, do not reply email, do not work on the pumps, on the windmills, on the systems. So we started to visualize this virtual flood. This was in Amsterdam, the Museum Square. On one hand, it's a bit scary, right? Is this our future world? But on the other hand, it is also beautiful because it's not reality yet. And it does show that we can live with water, but we can also learn from it. And this started to tour around the world, virtually flooding, or basically physically flooding these public spaces with light.
Walking around the building here is kind of surreal, like being underwater, but you're not.
I had problems to breathe, so it's absolutely crazy.
Kind of like drowning, but in a nice way.
On one hand, I had a feeling of fear, and on the other side, it's just like being part of an illusion, being part of a real Fata Morgana. It's like a combination of destruction and possibilities at the same time.
It tells me about the climate change. It tells me about what we're doing with the earth. So we should be careful.
If people see this, they want to change something about it. So I'm not very scared when I look at it. I think it gives me more hope.
Yeah, our world is changing, right? Our world is changing. Sea level, averagely on a global scale, is rising 2.5 meters before the year 2100. 2.2, 2.1 meter. It's a lot, right? But somehow when I tell you this number, you're like, yeah, whatever, right? Somehow numbers don't help us to change. But once you put it into an experience, that's when you get an emotion with it, an interaction. That's when you get an awareness. And it was so beautiful to have 60,000 people looking, wondering. We had like a podcast, an online radio, explaining the stories and talking about the impact of climate change. Not to be scared, but to be curious. We love making these site-specific work of art, right? So it's always about location, location, location. This was in the Netherlands. It's a UNESCO World Heritage, a very famous castle, which, as you can see, is surrounded by water. But as water level is rising, this monument is on the threat, right? Is on the threat of being damaged. So the director commissioned us to flood it. Bam, daytime, nighttime. Look at all the people there. We also always run it for 2-3 hours per night, doing free entrance, so it's for everybody. Really transforming this landscape. And, you know, I would love to make installation that make people curious about that future, that they start to wonder, hey, what can I do for that better future, right? Not wait, not blame, not complain, but activate. This is the team of designers, engineers, project managers, and volunteers. So these are big, large-scale installation, complicated, but fun to do. Bam. I believe that people change because of experience, and light is such an amazing tool in order to create that. Dreamy. The wind and the rain actually makes it better. So the worse the weather, the better the artwork. More wind is more drama. And when it rains, it's actually quite good because the water drops hit the light. So you get these sort of water diamonds. So we actually made an artwork where the worser the weather is, the better it gets. Yeah, that's not bad. Spark, I showed it to you before. Really interesting as well. How can we celebrate in a sustainable way? I'm aware the Chinese invented fireworks, right? Which is awesome. But at the same time, we wanted to make something which is biodegradable, which is soft, which is silent, which is future-proof. Here you see it exhibited in Pesaro for the Capita Culture in Italy, a place where many fireflies were, which disappeared. So we decided to bring them back through the biodegradable firework. The material is actually quite simple, but you know that simple design is the most complicated to make, right? Simple. My job is to make it look simple, which is actually really complicated. So, but it's made like floatables, like bubbles that reflect and absorb light. So it's fully biodegradable. It vaporizes the same night, silent. This was in Melbourne, daytime, nighttime. Can you imagine, right? This is Central Station right here. People on their way from work, going home, students with the pizza box in their hand, right, going home after a long day. You see this, bam! And it's so cool to sort of transform these public spaces. We always try to make everything dark, which is really complicated in public cities, right? Because light is always on. We don't know how to switch things off anymore. But some elements we lit up, some iconic elements. So really transforming the city into this dreamscape. In this case, the tower is really iconic in Melbourne, so we lit it up, and then we played with the opposite colors with spark. Like stars, dogs, and we like dogs. You know, when is the last time that you looked up, right? And some people think, what is it, right? I always say they're fireflies, they're aliens trying to kidnap us, they're birds, they're fishes. It's whatever you want it to be, right? They're symbolic. This was in Singapore, in the Super Trees area, the Gardens by the Bay, very iconic. And I love that people actually bring their dog to the fireworks, which normally, right, dogs are scared for a firework. They hide, they complain, they whine. So we designed for people, but we also designed for animals, and I'm really proud of that. So we have like tens and tens of photos of dogs being really happy, and that's a compliment for me. That's one of the biggest. I'm happy when I win an award, but I'm also happy when the dogs are happy. Yeah. So we're actually looking forward to bring this to China. Not been shown in China yet. Or here, light as a language. This was a question to think about the future of food, the future of agriculture. So huge parts of our earth, of our country, are covered with soil where we grow our food. But we hardly notice those fields, right? And so we were asked by a famous farmer bank, a farmer union, to think about the future of food and using light as an activator. And to be honest, I'm a city boy, right? I know nothing about agriculture. Before this project, I was never ever visited there. But I started to get into it, talking to the farmers, hanging out in these beautiful places. So 10 months later, we made this. This is daytime, 20,000 square meter field of leek. And this is nighttime. So what you're seeing is grow, using very specific light recipes to highlight the places that feed us. But the light that you see, blue, red, and ultraviolet, is not just beautiful. It actually helps crops to grow better. As you may know, that is already done in indoor greenhouses, right? To help plants grow when the sun goes down. We were the first one doing it outdoor. Red and the blue helps the crops to grow when the sun goes down. And the ultraviolet light activates the defense system of the crops and therefore can reduce the use of pesticide. And suddenly, this sort of very simple field of agriculture transformed into a wonder world.
Vacant, empty, uninhabited. We often dream about creating a better future. Yet we hardly notice the fields that feed us. How can we show the beauty of agriculture? How can we make the farmer the hero? And how can light help crops to grow more sustainably?
Grow is actually inspired by scientific research. It shows specific light recipes can enhance plant growth and reduce the use of pesticide up to 50%.
By step, learning, improving, growing.
Thank you. Yeah, I like this one. You know, it was cold, it was rainy, and it was amazing. And it's so cool. This is the power of light, huh? This is the power of light. And people came, they hanged out, magical. Yes, so the McCree curve explains that different wavelengths of light help us the crops grow better. So there's a lot of knowledge and a lot of science, but usually it's like hidden, or people don't know, right? And so we work with those scientists to actually apply it and make it reality. People. I would love to do this in China, but then in the rice fields, right? That would be so cool. Yeah. This is the farmer, and that was so cool because in the beginning, you know farmers, right? Usually very no-nonsense, very, you know, like, yeah, whatever. And in the beginning, he was a bit, how do you say, a bit skeptical, right? What are all these city boys and girls doing in my land? But then in the evening, he came back, and he couldn't stop looking at his own land, at his own piece of leek, a piece of crop. And I think this is innovation. This is the power of light, that it helps people to look at their own world, at their own reality, through a new perspective, through a new lens. That's why I love this photo so much. Yeah. Rotterdam, Netherlands is really important. Love Shanghai. This is our second studio in Bali, in Indonesia. That's not just because they have nice beaches and I'm retired. No, actually the opposite. Because I realized I don't want to just design things, I want to grow things. You know what I mean? And working with nature. Oh, by the way, that's my little dog, Q, on the left. Yeah, happy dog. We found him on the street, right? And then the dog comes to you, and then, yeah, you have to take care of it. That's sort of how it works there. So this is sort of where we grow things. So the glowing garden I showed you in the beginning is happening here. But we're doing one thing really special now, and I'm showing you a movie that has not been shown in public yet, so special moment. Fireflies. You know fireflies, right? And there were many 20 years ago in Bali. But when I started to live there and work, I realized, where are the fireflies? They are all gone. And so I started to talk with my neighbor and the locals, and they said, yeah, that's really weird. 20 years ago, they were everywhere. Now we hardly see them. They're very special. And so we started to look into that. Why did the fireflies disappear? And we found out, actually, it's because, one, the pesticides, they spray the land so the larvae, the eggs, can't survive. But two, the light pollution, right? All the city lights, all the bright lights, burning the whole night. And fireflies use light to communicate, right? The blinking is a way to find each other, to mate. And so they were literally lost in light, and they can't find and make new babies. And I found that really sad, right? It's so, we can go to the moon, right? We can do AI, but why do we live in a world where the fireflies are disappearing? We might be the last generation to see fireflies. Not good. So one morning I woke up and I realized we got to bring them back. So we started the world's first breeding program to bring fireflies back into our world and to figure out a science how to breed them from egg to larva to firefly.
They glow like stars in the night. But then they faded. Through our 3-year breeding process, we studied, we nurtured, and we waited for the return of the fireflies.
So if you come to our garden, we have fireflies. That's pretty cool, right? I mean, I love LED, I love technology, don't get me wrong, but there's something magical about living light, about real nature. And actually, we shot this movie in red light. Why? Because fireflies operate between 500 and 600 nanometers, more or less. Red light is around 700, 730 nanometers, so they can't see it, which was really good. So we we could shoot the film and see something, and at the same time, the fireflies are still happy because it's outside their spectrum, it's outside their scope. Light is their language. The blinking is their language. So if they like each other, female, male, they synchronize their light. So you can see when the date is going well, so to say. Do you know how long it takes from egg to larva to firefly? 10 months. 10 months. You know how long a firefly lives? 22 days. Oh, I find that so sad, right? We have plastic in the ocean which lasts forever, but the firefly 22 days, yeah. So it takes long time. And so commercially, it's of course completely meaningless to spend 10 months that lives for 22 days, right? Commercially, like why would you do that? But emotionally and culturally, it has a lot of meaning, it has a lot of capital. So we're working now with the Balinese and the Indonesian government to say, this is your cultural heritage, right? This is your culture, and you should learn from it, protect it. So now we have a manual how to breed fireflies. Did not exist before. This is the firefly garden we're working at the moment. Big dome, daytime butterfly, evening firefly. Free entrance. We show the science, we show the experience. One table. Not 10, not 100. One table where you can have a dinner for two surrounded by the fireflies with your soon-to-be wife or your grandma or whomever. This is also the future of ecotourism, right? Where tourism is not harming the environment or the city, but actually supporting it. And it reminds me actually of the Amman, which is 45 minutes away from here in Shanghai. I don't know if you know that story. I'll be very short. I think the founder of one of the people who was involved heard that his trees of his childhood village were about to be destroyed by new development. And these are like hundreds of years old trees, 700 kilometers away from Shanghai. And at that time he had money, so he decided, we're gonna save those trees. We're gonna save those childhood trees. We're gonna bring them to the Amman here in Shanghai and plant them there. And they still exist, right? I think that's such a beautiful story, to save something, to create an experience that is meaningful. And so I started to look through Bali, through nature in a different lens, and using the magic of nature and light as an inspiration. So every day I take a beach walk, right? I have a dog. The dog wants to go to the beach, right? I have to, right? Otherwise he starts eating the pillows and goes crazy. So every day I was at the beach and I looked at the waves and realizing that I just want to make the world glow, right? So we started a project series of 10, 20 design, a world that glows, where we make the fireflies, of course, glow, the plants, the flowers, you saw that. But these are waves of light. Oh. So these are prototypes, quick, exist for an evening using LEDs or specific laser technology and really transforming 4-kilometer beaches, showing the importance of the oceans and that we take care of them. Or here, waterfalls as well, real waterfall, not AI, not Photoshop, real one. Daytime, nighttime. And it's so cool to use light and create these places of mystery, transforming the landscape into these places of poetry and wonder. Okay, last one. And then if you want, we can do some questions. So, light. Light is beautiful, but light can also be a little bit bad if we don't curate it, if we don't design it very well. This is one of the most light polluted places in the world, in the Netherlands, in Leiden. It's a small city nearby Amsterdam. Every year, 7% more light pollution happens there. And I was seeing this image taken from the sky, and I thought it was so sad, right? The birds can't sleep. We're just burning energy for nothing. And I realized that we don't see the stars anymore, right? Because of the light pollution. And so this sort of almost kid-like idea came in my head. What if for one night we just switch off all the lights? All the lights? Yeah, all the lights. Why? To see the stars again, right? And this was like a story, you know, you're in a bar with your friends and everyone's, yeah, ha ha ha, nice idea, right? But then after 8 months I realized I actually want to do it. And so we found a mayor, actually several mayors, several cities, which said the beautiful word, yes. So daytime, nighttime. All the citizens switched off their light. The mayor approved for the safety. And so we brought the stars back in collaboration with UNESCO to say, actually, seeing the stars is a cultural heritage. We all have a right to see the stars. Over 80% of the world population is disconnected from our universe because of light pollution. To bring back the stars, I ask an entire city to switch off all their lights.
I'm so proud to switch off all the lights in our city, to see the stars and feel connected with each other.
Everybody should have the right to see the stars. UNESCO aims to recognize seeing stars as our universal heritage.
Seeing stars is one switch away. A simple idea, very complicated to execute, right? The mayor had to approve, all the citizens, all the entrepreneurs, but they did it. And it was so cool because it is very clear, right? I did not design the stars, right? They've been there for millions of years. And they're speeding towards us 300,000 kilometers per second, right? With the speed of light. But to sort of have this idea that by removing light, you reveal. So sometimes design is not about adding, but about removing and revealing and bringing back the stars. We've only stopped seeing the stars since 25 years in big cities like Shanghai or here in the Netherlands. So why don't every Saturday night we all come together as light industry, as light community, and we bring back the stars for 1 hour and look and wonder together. We put telescopes all around the city, and so experts were explaining to the people what you were seeing, what you were looking. So there's always an education and a science program connected to it. And girls, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, maybe this is how I would love to see the future of light. Dreamy, poetic an experience, and using light as an activator to be more curious and more sustainable for that better future. All right, thank you so much. Yes. Are you going to be polite and be silent, or you want to have some questions? No questions?
好，现场的各位嘉宾们、各位设计师朋友们，大家呢，如果说对于刚刚分享到的一些内容有问题的话，现在呢可以来去举手。是的，有吗？好。
This always happens in China. I want minimal one question, please. It's good to ask questions. Don't be shy. Yeah, please. Thank you. Please, you can. Thanks so much. A brave lady.
I think you created a wonderful kind of scenery for us. It's wonderful, but I wonder, some projects are very expensive.
Compared to what?
Just in general, I think some.
I understand.
Maybe even you close the, switch off the light for the city. It might be costly.
Well, it's sort of like, like fashion, right? Fashion in Paris. You have your haute couture, the beautiful dresses, indeed very expensive, very famous. But the knowledge that is built up there and the statement that is made sort of influences everyday fashion, right? The €5 t-shirt I'm wearing, or the €6. So it's important to make a statement, to inspire, and a lot of actually technology and knowledge that we build up influences the day-to-day things. It's not so much about money, actually. It's more about leadership and finding people with a vision and then make it happen. But I think, we can spend money on going to space or on making a new car. I think we should spend it on making these kind of light experience. So in the end, it's also always a question of choice and of leadership.
Yeah. I totally agree with you.
And if I can do it with a really small team, I'm sure you can do it as China. Like you're really big.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. I think especially the last project, I think it's worthwhile to do it. But for the one under the sky, I think it was the bubbles.
Yeah, the spark.
We spark. Yeah, we love it. But
super.
What that means? How could people to own the chance to see it?
Yeah, no, we haven't. Thank you for your question. We haven't brought it to China yet. We've done 14, 15 countries now. So you can always drop me a line on LinkedIn or WeChat. I'm on WeChat, and we can explore. I think, if we work together as a light community and make that public statement, it shows the power of light, attracts a lot of people. So I think in the end it's all about collaboration to make it happen. Oh, okay. Now you have many questions.
It's not a question because
comment.
The next Jiang Xiaofei, he just showed me he's doing a project. He suggested you as an artist as a part of it.
Super.
He showed me. Probably he can talk to you after
Thanks so much. Yeah, it would be my pleasure. Yeah. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, sorry, one more question. I apologize.
Sorry.
你好。
我想用中文跟您问一个问题，哪位可以翻译一下吗 ？Okay.
My Mandarin is a little bit, yeah. I get the translator, no worries. You can do it, you can just tell me. Please.
OK. 那么我刚才看到您很多比较绚丽的装置的灯光艺术，我发现就说非常的激动，就说把一种光运用到跟自然更结合的一个很让人感觉它来自于自然的存在，但是它又是通过人工的照明来体现它的装置的艺术，让人更多的去有一些思考。我觉得光与自然的理解，但是我对您有一点 的体现就是把这个光运用到农村的土地。OK， 那么我觉得其实中国也有类似的项目，而且它客观是普遍存在，就是来自于我曾经去三亚、海南的地方，很多的农村里面，晚上非常的田地里面非常的这个光亮。就海南有很多的土地上面都有灯光，我以为是灯光秀，其实它是农作物的一个水果的一个让它可以快速的成长，就是即使在夜晚也可以让它吸收营养灯光，但是它非常的美，跟您这个异曲同工。但是我看到您这个更多的像一个装置的艺术，所以我在考虑您的灯光是否可以跟未来的农村的农作物的它的就是成长或者运用能够更好的结合，能够它不是一个仅仅只是一个观赏的艺术，而且是可以跟经济和投入产生一个更好的正比。那么就像我们现在中国正在做的大量的所谓的农村的改革和农村的文旅项目的一个体现，就美丽乡村的一个体现。那么其实对于经济的投入是一个很大的问题。那么怎么样去结合这个投入和产出，又可以有一个更好的视觉的效果？您是怎么考虑 ？OK， 谢谢。
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think light can be poetic, right? But can also be practical and functional. And finding that combination, that is good design. But thanks so much for sharing that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.